Welcome. So let's play Rule the Waves 2 as France, starting in 1920. This is episode 60. And we are about to enter 1946 with a war with Italy looking like it's on the cards. There shouldn't be too much to fear from the Italians. They have reduced their number of capital ships down to 2 battle cruisers against our 6 fast battleships. They do have a comparable amount of aircraft carriers, but their weight is actually slightly behind ours. Their cruiser force is a lot stronger, and in particular, their air force is the biggest in the world. So obviously that will be a bit of a concern operating off Italian air bases. Let's see what January brings. Lovely new heavy cruisers finished working up. Yes, thank you very much, British government, for more tech. Excellent for another one. Nothing of great interest there. I'm just a bit concerned that I'm just sort of scraping along with my finances, so I think it's time to make a few savings. So I'm going to turn down intelligence on the Japanese and Americans, and I am going to go to coastal fortifications, and I'm going to scrap some of these airships that I romantically still have operating. Madagascar, farewell. China, Indochina. In Tunisia, Brest. Probably by the time we come round to a war in Northern Europe again, I imagine they'll have long gone. Basically, I'm just going to keep this one in San Florin and this one in Tunis in the Mediterranean because not a huge lift, but every little helps. A small bonus that will help when we come to fight this war with Italy, which who knows when. I suppose I could encourage the war through the simple mechanism of either mobilizing or moving my good fleet out of Northern Europe, where they're currently staged, and into the Mediterranean. I'll hold off on that just now. I'd like this funds to be sort of over 30,000 or something, so just a few months' time. The Russians and autoloaders. Okay, probably not suitable for our new cruisers. Well, we don't use 7 and 8 inch guns, so definitely not suitable. I remember we've got autoloaders for 6-inch guns. And a new plane ready for evaluation. Let's see what the gods have brought us this time. So these two are very, very, very similar. Almost nothing in it. I think I'm tempted by the Farman because of its extra toughness. Yes, it's down on maneuverability and firepower, and tiny little bit in the others, but I think having a tough plane for a torpedo bomber is probably more worthwhile. It's not a devastatingly huge leap forward as I might have hoped, but it's still a reasonable, solid improvement, taking our range from 250 at heavy to 300 or 380 at medium range where we can still carry torpedoes. And our other plane, our fighter, has entered service. If I look, we now have a new torpedo bomber, a new fighter, none of which have entered service in terms of numbers yet, a few new flying boats, a new dive bomber, and a new medium bomber. So only the old torpedo bomber and the fighter. I suppose I could see if I could get a new float plane, because actually their range at light, at 200 miles, is simply inadequate now for our tasks. Let's go scout and range and reliability. Main things I'd like to have in. Would we like some more tech? Would we? Yes. Near misses from glide bombing have a chance of being converted to torpedo hits. That's nice. So that's a couple of corvettes, so we can send a couple more. Russians would like to buy stuff. Yeah, sure. That's fine. It is tempting to mobilize the fleet, maybe have a nice little exercise to improve crew quality. I look at under construction, we're just 3 months off a new carrier arriving, and then, another 5 months or so of it working up. I'd really quite like to have that extra strength to hand. So I am, I can say I'm holding myself back. But then the Prime Minister comes along and says we need to deter in the Mediterranean, or we need a strength of 136. And the Americans want to sell us some. Tech is coming very quickly. Excellent. So let's just redeploy this fleet a bit. So if we have a look at the map and hover over Northern Europe, I can see we've got 161 points worth of ships. We need to do 130 or something like that. So pretty much all of the fleet needs to go across. So I've basically sent the entire active fleet across to the Med. Because I've got quite a large number of ships in reserve, I don't think that's quite enough. So I've also activated these 2 battleships out of mothballs and sent them. And because they're poor crew quality, they could do with a few months of sailing around to bring that up to at least fair, if not good. And then we'll take a look next month to see if I need to bring any other ships out of reserve. Offering to sell us good stuff. And again, nothing particularly interesting in the news. Let's check how those movements have impacted things. Okay, so we've got 181, so well over what we need. And we probably have nothing whatsoever, almost, in Northern Europe. All of these in mothballs, all of these in reserve. Here are those 2 corvettes that were refitted. They're transiting slowly over to the South Pacific. So that all seems fine. Next turn. Tensions with Italy staying where they are. Given us valuable insights into British machine development technology. Well, that's always nice. And also into light forces and torpedo warfare. Not quite sure how a carrier does that, but it's nice too. And boom, we have a new carrier. Interested in buying the rights to 6-inch autoloaders? Well, that obviously answers that question. Yep. Right, have a look at this. It doesn't look wildly different. So no, it's almost completely identical aside from firepower. I'm going to say no to that. Rebellion's broken out in Sakhalin, or the Japanese. Another anti-imperial one. Right, so the completion of that carrier has released a little bit of money, so we can go and design some new destroyers. We haven't built destroyers in like 10 years. Time has marched on. So let's see what we get. Well, that doesn't. So what can we put on 2,500? Well, of course, the big question is, can we add a missile? And just see if it's happy with that. Obviously, we're overweight, but aside from that, yes, we can. So I'm going to take off X turret. I might add B, and then remove this and see if X. Now we're only 12 tons over, so we really should be able to organize this. Let me just have a little play. No belt, unit machinery, ideally. No torpedo defense. Obviously, these 5-inch guns are not dual purpose. Okay, let's have a little look at this. I've had to bring the speed down to 33 knots to just squeeze within the tonnage limit, and that's with engine priority on speed. I've got 4-inch dual purpose instead of 5-inch. Yes, I know 5-inch would be highly desirable, but equally having the heavy anti-aircraft factors is highly desirable. I've reduced the torpedoes down to 3. I have a full complement of light anti-aircraft and a full complement of ASW, including the mortars. And then, of course, I have my precious missile. Just see if it's all happy with that. Okay. The only thing I really don't like about this is the 4-inch guns instead of the 5-inch guns. If I go up to 5-inch, I'd either have to build it abroad or I would have to... but let's see. Our good old ally, Great Britain, does give us a little bit more to play with, does allow us to have. Now, in fact, that takes it to 99, and we can't have forward ASW mortars. So it's not great in every direction. What about if we go to the USA? And the USA, our technology is not bad. In the USA, it actually gets heavier. If I go to my local yard, the weight comes down. So my local yard is doing not too bad. 4-inch guns, it's got to be. Little tiny bit of tonnage left. 20 tons remaining. I've got torpedo reloads. I don't think I can... No, that's too much to take that. So the reloads are more important than the straightforward number. I'm happy with 6. Obviously, I'd like 8 or 10. Nothing in secondary or tertiaries. 20 tons. Oh, I don't seem to have any fire control. Dual purpose. Okay. And that takes us to 2 over. I mean, I can live with 2 over. Teeny tiny, slightly overweight. Obviously, we'll give it a slightly greater tendency to sink. Or I could just get rid of a light anti-aircraft and avoid that penalty. Let's avoid the penalty. The Epee class are first guided missile destroyers. Still only 4,000. At least my reserve funds is almost the same as my total expenses. That feels like a helpful thing to do. In a naval visit by the USA, you are asked blah, blah, blah. Take tensions down. I don't think that's a good thing. I'm not going to insult the USA, am I? Well, oops, I insulted the USA. So let's go to the build screen and see how many we can have. So 6 would use up all of our monthly balance. Seems fair enough. I might have to scrap some things. It does seem that I am slightly living beyond my means. If I was going to scrap something, what might that be? Go to the almanac. 6 battleships. Germany, double that. Soviet Union 3. Britain, double that. Actually, and they're still building. I'm surprised they're still building, to be honest. Italy only has 2, but they are building a new one. Japan has 10. America has 20. 20, 15, 17, 6. Carriers, I mean, the Americans just got a ridiculous number of carriers now. 9. Let's look at the tonnage. 210. Italy less than us. We've got Union less than us. Britain a bit bigger than that. Sorry, Germany a bit bigger. The Germans are really powering on in their naval strength. Cruisers, not very strong. Light cruisers, very weak. Destroyers, starting to address that. I mean, those 6 new destroyers are a real big boost to our total destroyer tonnage. And the Italian Air Force has gone over 2,000, so it's increasing. How the Italians are affording this, I have no idea. And then into September, yes, they'd like to buy some stuff. Fine by me. If we just go to the almanac and have a little look at the industrial base, France has 50,000, 51,000 with colonies. Germany has a little bit less than us and has a fleet twice the size in heavy ships. Soviet Union, substantially less. Britain, and again, we've got 51,000. Britain's got 60,000. it doesn't have 10,000's worth more of ship. Italy has 10,000 less and has a bigger navy than us. Japan has a bigger navy than us, and it's comparable. And the USA, I mean, again, the USA has an enormous fleet, but you'd expect its economy to be well over 100,000 or something from the size. So I'm not totally sure what's going on there. I mean, yes, I could be more severe in my active fleet, cut that all the way down. So perhaps that's it. They are squeezing money out of their mothballing and reserving their air force. If they are, then they will have a penalty when they come to fight me. Yeah, I think that's good enough for the moment. Tensions with Italy still high. I'm only a few months from my new carrier being worked up, and when it is, I think that might be a good time to mobilize and see if I can afford my fleet, because I suspect my monthly balance will go down. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Stay safe.